Hello and welcome to Modern Handgunners. I'm Bob Main.
And I'm Ben Branham. Today we're going to talk about pistol caliber carbines, and me and Bob both own one, and we love them for different reasons. So, Bob, you want to show yours off first?
Yeah, first of all, to all of you listeners, welcome. Thank you very much, all the viewers out there. I'm the host of the Handgun World podcast. We need to talk about this, Ben, for possible new viewers. What's the name of your podcast?
I'm the host of Modern Self-Protection, and we do shows about guns and self-defense. So we both do our own show about it, and we both got together to do this show to help you out some more.
And below the posting for this video, in the links, you will find direct links to both of our shows that can also be found on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, and all the other podcasts out there. We'd like you to listen. We post regular ones, and on this YouTube channel, we do regular videos now as well. So, pistol caliber carbines, Ben. All right. So, first of all, why a pistol caliber carbine? You know, a lot of during this COVID-19 crisis, Ben, a lot of people are going out and buying guns for the first time, and some of them seem to be buying multiple guns, a pistol, and then some of them buy a long gun. And so I'll start with mine. What I want to talk about today, this is an old-fashioned cowboy gun. This is a 357 Magnum lever action. Now it'll shoot 38 special. It'll shoot 357. I kind of like these old cowboy guns, and don't discount these things, because these things can be in a stink hit the fan situation. They could be a really neat little home defense gun. Lever action is nice because you don't have to worry about any of these things. You don't have to worry about any magazines that you put into the rifle or anything like that. I like it because it's a pistol caliber, so it shoots 357 Magnum rounds, and it'll also shoot 38 special. So for new shooters, it's kind of nice that you can put a 38 special in here, low recoil. I'll tell you what, when you shoot 38s through this, it's got virtually no recoil whatsoever, and that's really nice. Then you put 357 Magnums in, and I'm going to get into some of the benefits of a 357 Magnum in these. This is a perfectly legal 16-inch barrel, and it's kind of like their little trapper model. Now, this is not a real fancy one. This is just a basic one. It's made by Rossi. I got it for, I think, $340 a few years ago. It's kind of like modeled after the Winchester with the ejection out the top. The Marlins have an ejection port on the side. This is not, for people who don't know, this is not a loading. This is for loading. This is not ejection. The ejection comes out the top. But it's a real handy little gun, and it's really lightweight, and I just like it.
Yeah, we took that at range, and it was fun to shoot too. But the cool thing about some of those lever guns with those pistol caliber carbines is you're shooting that 38 or the 357, and well, it actually becomes a nice survival rifle for just about anything. It will put down people if you need it to as your self-defense weapon, and it would be a great little hunting rifle out to about 100 yards or so when the ballistics of the 357 just kind of lose out because of the shape of the bullet. But up until then, they still pack a wall up and hit pretty hard, and you could take most game in North America, you know, deer and stuff that you need to survive. I wouldn't want to do it with a bear. That's a little bit big. I don't like, you know, the things that can eat me. I want the bigger calibers, but those will work if you have to, and they're a lot better than a lot of the other stuff out there, and they just keep going. And then if you have a revolver, the ammo is cross-platform, so that's really easy. You just drop it in. There's a lot to be said about those little lever guns too. And you know, the last thing we always talk about is self-defense and the legal mindset. Man, if they hold that old Marlin up in court, the only joke or bad thing they can say about you is you think you're a cowboy. You know, There's no tactical death gun, nothing like that. Everybody's seen an old, you know, they hold it up in court and go, he used this death machine.
It's just a hunting gun. It's only a hunting gun. It's
And
like his
so,
it's like his grandpappy's hunting gun, you know?
yeah, and then your lawyer will be like, well, this thing was designed in 1890 something, 1894. I think those things were designed, and they've been around since then. So not exactly the modern killing death machine that people want to make it out. So there's a lot of
Well,
cool
yeah.
advantages to that. And that,
Yeah, let's
and
talk about something else you said, Ben. These 357 rounds. Um, when you shoot that 357 and you shoot it through this long barrel, you get much better ballistics than if you shoot this out of most revolvers. In fact, Buffalo Bore makes some real good 357 Magnum ammo that inside of about 75 yards, the ballistics are pretty close to a 30-30. Not quite like a 30-30, but these are a lot easier to shoot than a 30-30. It holds in the tube. It holds 8 rounds plus one in the chamber, so it's a 9 round, and it's so short. I mean, this thing is so compact. Getting in and out of vehicles. That's another thing I like about this. Getting in and out of vehicles. It is hammer fired. Okay, so it's hammer fired. So it's going to drop the hammer. Here's another cool thing with these is you can put them in the half cock position. So it's half cocked, and that's like a safety. I can press the trigger all I want, and it's not going to fire. And when I'm ready to fire, all I got to do is pull the hammer back and fire. I kind of like that. It's kind of like it's a pretty safe gun. Half cock, won't fire. I want to shoot it, just cock it, and bang.
so those are kind of fun little guns, right? I still want one. I don't have one yet. One of these days, but I want a bigger one. I want one in the 460 Smith and Wesson.
You want the 460?
Yeah, I want the
Big
bigger
long
one.
one, over here.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe not the long one, but I want the bigger caliber just because I don't know. I've always been enthralled with that caliber, and I thought that would make a great hunting rifle here in Texas, where everybody
Yeah.
shoots stuff at like 75 yards. So I think that would be fun. But hey, that's kind of on my list, and there's a couple companies that make one, and they're $3,000 or $4,000. So when I get rich and famous, I'll buy me one just because I want one. But for right now, I've been running pistol caliber carbine, and I've been doing it as a competitor, and I've been running one of these CZ Scorpions. So I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Bob's got the old school stuff, and I got the brand new, looks like a machine pistol kind of thing. And these CZ Scorpions were designed as a machine gun, as a machine pistol originally, with an 8-inch barrel and no stock or a little folding stock like this one. And it doesn't meet a lot of laws for that other one. But this one, full 16-inch barrel, so it's technically a rifle under the law, and it has a full stock, and it does fold, so I can store it easier. That's about the only thing that's cool about a folding stock on one of these. And it has an adjustable stock, all the cool things. But I've been running pistol caliber carbine at a bunch of matches with this one, and I'm starting to win. This thing is fast. This is a Magpul 35-round magazine. It comes with 30-round magazines by CZ. I think the Magpul ones are better. I've been running a bunch of different mags. Get the dot sight on it, the co-witnesses with the irons. It's almost a tactical weapon in today's market with all the M-lock rails on it, and I can mount anything. And it's even got a muzzle brake, which, the 9mm is super duper kicking around, and I need that. Not really.
No, it's not, but it's still pretty cool.
This one's pretty cool. It shoots really fast. It's set up almost with HK style MP5 controls. I got it locked back up here with this little knob, and you can push it down to let it go forward. If there wasn't a empty mag in there, the bolt would actually go home. And if there's a live round in there, it would go home. But it's kind of cool because it's like you slap it like an MP5 to get it to load. It's got an MP5 style paddle release on it, but then it's got an AR style release for a bolt catch too. So it has a last round hold open. So when I put it back, it holds open. The charging handle's non-reciprocal, so that's kind of cool. I can put my thumb behind it, and it's not going to worry about it. And then it has almost an AR-style lever on the side here to let the bolt go home. So I can push it down. So it's almost the hybrid of both of them. And for me, it works really, really well. It's super fast to reload, super fast to shoot, super fast to swing. It's got about the right weight to it. I think they're about 5.5 pounds empty. And to me, that makes it a perfect weight to swing from target to target and move around. And with the 9mm, I am running a longer barrel. So the 16 inches, same thing. If I'm going to run a 9mm round, it's going to pick up some velocity. I'm going to get a little bit more damage out of it. It's going to be pushing more 357 load specs when I shoot it out of an 8 or 16-inch barrel. Depends on what load you have. I've been doing a bunch of research. And 8 and 9 inch barrels are generally the sweet spot for a 9 millimeter. After that, you're starting to get a little drag, and then the speed actually starts going down. So by the time it gets to the end of the 16, it's not going as fast as it could. It ran out of powder charge and push, so that it starts to slow down. But I haven't chronographed this one. I'm just shooting loads. I got a 25-yard zero on it, and it has been knocking them back at the close ranges that we all go to, and all the stuff that I do for the run and guns for IDPA and AASA. And it's just a lot of fun to run this gun. It could double as a combat weapon if I needed to. I'm not really big into this one. I'd rather have a rifle and a rifle caliber carbine if I'm going to run something that looks evil and black like this. I can run a full rifle as my self-defense weapon, and I just run, I got a couple ARs that are set up right now as my self-defense home guns, because the 9mm is better out of this, but it is not even close to what is coming out of my 5.56 round. So, and they're about the same weight. There's about the same size. The 5.56 ammo is actually lighter if I'm going to carry a bunch of it. So there's a lot to be said about the 5.56 over a full-size carbine like this.
And that's a cool gun.
This one's just fun. But before I had this one, I had one that was the pistol model that was cut off. So it had like a 9-inch barrel, and it had the folding brace on it, so it was legal. That thing was like a little submachine gun. Now that thing, because of the short barrel and the short length, it started to get into its own to where I could use it as a weapon, and I'd want to use it as a self-defense weapon because it's so short, handy, and light. This one is really just my competition gun. And honestly, I'm going to strip off these backup sights just to put a little less weight on it. And one more thing that I don't need to fall off or break or worry about, and just run my optic on it, because this is just a toy for me. This is just to win matches and have fun. So all that stuff.
And you're good with it. You're very good. I mean, I want to tell people I've seen Ben shoot that, and if he doesn't win, he comes pretty close to winning the match in the pistol caliber carbine division. You can really move and shoot with that thing.
I'm getting there. Unfortunately, we are on lockdown for COVID-19 right now, so I haven't been out in almost a month shooting, and I'm starting to get the itch, and it's driving me crazy. I'm dry practicing every day to get better. But I really want to see and push this thing and see how fast I can go and how fast this thing can go with me. A lot of the guys that are winning the top matches aren't shooting just off-the-shelf rifle. This is an off-the-shelf rifle. I bought it used from Lone Star Handguns, free plug for them. I actually traded a couple Glocks to get enough money and a Glock to them with some cash so I could get this because, well, I wanted it really bad, and they had it sitting there for a while. Yeah, and they had it sitting. It was a used gun. They had it sitting for 2 or 3 months on their shelf, so we made a cool deal. It was a really great deal for them and a really great deal for me. I got this thing. Yeah, I wanted it, so I got it. Lots of fun shooting it. I'm not sure. I mean, I could press it into a self-defense weapon, but there's so many other things that are better. The only real advantage this one has over an actual rifle and a 5.56 is, one, the noise level. You shoot your 5.56 caliber inside in a hallway, you are gonna know it. It is the loudest thing there ever was on Earth. Yeah. And the shorter that barrel is, and the more muzzle brake you put on it, the louder that thing is gonna be. It's gonna ring your chimes and ring the chimes of the people next to you. The 9mm is way quieter.
Now, if I may interject, folks, this is not a competition gun. You're going to suck in competition with this unless you go to a cowboy match. Now, if you go to a cowboy match, then you're going to do okay. The purpose of this is just a good utility self-defense / hunting gun, and the more you practice, the faster you can run this lever, and you'll be surprised how quick you can shoot this. And people who know what they're doing, they're good at this. You know, they have, in fact, you can see I'm not, but they're good. They're good. They can run it, and they can do it at a pretty quick, high speed, not as fast as you can go with that carbine, Ben. You know, you'd be finished with the stage, and I'd still be probably cranking off my 5th or 6th shot. But still, there's differences. And so, as Ben mentioned before, this isn't going to make you look bad if you defend yourself with this. Some people don't care so much about that. If you do, consider one of these nice little lever actions.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say about the 9mm, like this thing as a self-defense weapon, and the one thing I really like about this new PCC carbine that everybody's shooting and doing in competition is it's 9mm. I have thousands, literally, probably close to 10,000 9mm sitting around my house, just rounds collecting dust to shoot. And they're the cheapest center fire ammo you're going to buy. This one, I run the steel horrible Wolf and Tula and Monarch ammo through it, and it runs just fine. I don't mind. I think the weapon was designed for that. It's a check-made CZ, so it was probably designed to run on that
Yeah.
crap. And it's so cheap that I just run it and run it and run it. So I think that's a big advantage it has. Even if you're going to use this as a self-defense weapon, I can stock one kind of ammo. 9mm stock up on it. It's the cheapest stuff out there. I can stock self-defense rounds and everything and just be done with it and not have to worry about figuring anything else out. So
Yeah.
that's a cool advantage that I've always thought was great. I think I was way ahead of the power curve on that. Ruger came out with their PCC, their police carbine, like I think it was early 2000, maybe it was 99, right in there. And then that thing just flopped. And I'm like, this is the greatest idea anybody ever had. It shoots the same ammo as your 9mm. And that one even shot the Ruger P89 mags at the time that were popular. And I was like, this is like the best thing since sliced butter. And I got to shoot one and loved it. And then they all just kind of fell off the market. They quit making them and they were just gone. And now
Those
it's all
CZs
coming
are
back.
nice. Those
Yeah.
CZs are very, very nice. I really like that. I may have to get me one of those. That's one of the disadvantages of this 357. They are a lot more expensive. The 38s are less expensive than the 357s, but still 38 special is more expensive than 9mm. It kind of always has been.
Yeah, probably always will be. There's more brass, more everything there, more to manufacture, and less people are manufacturing it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But the only thing, so I'll say the one bad thing about most of these CZs and all of them is that it has a submachine gun trigger. The trigger is hard, stiff, and lots of play and slop in there. Not much creep, so it doesn't really bother me that much. But I think the dang thing, it weighs in at like 12 or 13 pounds when I pull the trigger. It is not something that's tuned and nice. And that's
Yeah,
because of the big bolt and everything, and it's a
and there's
submachine gun. So.
there's an advantage of these lever actions. Nice trigger. I mean, basically that's a single action trigger. Once you run the lever on this, you got a single action hammer fired trigger, and it's a sweet trigger. So that's one of the advantages I'd have to say. And it's kind of heavy for being a small guy. I bet you, Ben, this thing weighs about the same as your CZ right there.
Really, I thought those were all like 3 or 4 pounds.
Oh,
That make
heck
me
no,
want to
no,
look
no,
it
no.
up.
This is more than 3 or 4 pounds. Okay, maybe 5 pounds is pushing it, but for what it is, it's a pretty heavy little gun. Now, some people make fun of me because, oh, it's just a Rossi. Hey, I got to tell you, I'm not sponsored by them, but at the time I couldn't find a Marlin in 357, and I couldn't find a Winchester, and I got a good deal on this. It's been flawless. I mean, it has shot. I've run different types of 38 and different types of 37, and I've never had a problem with this thing.
Yeah, and you don't run it a lot. You just shoot it a little bit, so it's not that big a deal. And when you bought that, I remember that was years ago, and that was when Marlin was having all sorts of problems. When
Marlin
their
was having
used
all
gun,
kinds of problems. Yeah, they
their
were.
used guns were like twice as expensive as their new guns because their factory was not doing real well.
And they're still
So
pretty expensive. They're still, I mean, if you want for buying a lever action gun, it seems like the Marlins are still expensive, and the Winchesters, if you can find them, they're pretty expensive too.
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there. So I was trying to look up the weights while we're talking, and I can't find it. I can find the price
Uh,
on that one. It's $560.
no, not today. It's 560. Yeah, but I think I got mine for 359.95 from a dealer at a gun show, brand new.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
we'll look up the weight and we'll put it in the show notes here and put a link to it, and as well as the weight of your CZ, and we'll compare them. But any last thoughts about these carbines, Ben?
They're all a blast. If you can get one, go for it. I know my friend had a 22 lever gun that was just more fun than a bag of rocks to shoot. And these
Yeah,
nine
they are.
millimeters, all of them, I've tested 3 or 4 of them now, and they're all just a blast to shoot. So if you can get your hands on any kind of carbine that's pistol caliber, go for it, shoot it, have fun.
The last thing I'll say is if your primary defense gun is a 357-38 revolver, here's your compliment to it. Works great.
Yep, and legal in every state in the union. probably even legal in Canada, believe it or not. I
Yeah,
have to look that up,
maybe
but
so. We may get some comments from Canadian viewers on that.
see if they can have it or not. So,
Yeah,
anyways, that's our thoughts on pistol caliber carbines and the stuff that we own and why, just for fun, just to look out at, hey, we're all in this kind of stupid COVID thing right now, and we're all stuck inside, but this too shall pass. And when we get back shooting again, we're going to get out and have fun. We're looking at all the cool stuff in our safe, and we're going to put a list together of when and where we're going to go shooting and what.
yeah. So for all you viewers, thanks again for watching. Just as a reminder, Ben and I, we also have a special members only video website. It's called the Shooters Club, and we've got pretty close to, I think, 85 videos and about 15 or 20 different audio podcasts on there. So you have close to 100 pieces of material you can listen to. Even much more in-depth reviews than this, and also we got gun safety information, we have training information, self-defense information, video footage from some of the live classes we used to teach. So check that out, shootersclubmembers.com. It'll be in the show notes, shootersclubmembers.com.
If you like us, that's how you can support us. We have to pay for all this stuff to be online, and that's really how we pay all the bills, is to pay that, because yes, hosting costs money and all of that good stuff costs money. YouTube is free, but everything else costs money.
And check out the sponsor of my podcast, which is Concealment Solutions, if you're looking for a good holster, and there'll be a link in the notes for that. Ben, thanks.
Hey, it's fun. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me and Bob talk about our pistol caliber carbines.